I am Rob.
And I am another Rob.
And today we've got something interesting to talk about as a video game. It's creepy, it's crawly, it's The Evil Within 2.
Yes. The follow-up to Evil Within 1, funnily enough.
Yeah, the irony, isn't it?
Yeah, in this one, you are Sebastian Castellanos. And I'm going to have to drop some concepts with you here. You go in this place which is called STEM, which is basically like the Matrix, only you are in the brain of a character who is referred to as the car, who powers this Matrix-type world. And if people get hold of the car, they can corrupt STEM and make it all sorts of unnatural and horrific things, and can change its form, and it's an entirely fluid and fabricated world. And in the real world, they're just basically laying in a bath with wires in them. So it's basically the Matrix. Dress it up how you want, it's the Matrix.
Okay.
And Sebastian Castellanos is the lead character from the first game. He was in an insane asylum. He escaped. And as we start the second game, I don't know what's in the first game because it does tell a very good story in the second Evil Within, but it doesn't exactly say, hello and welcome to this new franchise like many other sort of survival horror games have done, where it's like 1 is a game and 2 is a game, but you don't have to play 1. You could cite all sorts of examples like Resident Evil or Silent Hill. It all stood alone on each individual iteration. But
yeah, but I mean, there's two schools of thought when it comes to sequels. You've got to applaud them. Who was it who developed it?
Tango Orange Works.
You've got to applaud them for having the balls to actually do a direct sequel to the first game. So you have to play the first game to get the full story.
Yeah.
You know.
The first game was kind of maligned. I think they fixed a lot with the second game, but going back to the story, you are Sebastian Castellanos.
You just like saying his name because you've said it 3 times.
The thing is, he's a Spanish lead he's a Spanish name. He doesn't really look Hispanic or anything, and that's rare for a game, really, without making them a stereotype. He's just a normal character, and that is the best thing about, I think, the Evil Within.
Yeah,
because the story, it's basically he's confronted one day about, your daughter's not missing. It's just a company which I work for, Mobius, which is basically like put together all the biggest evil corporation gimmicks in whatever series that you like, and there you go, Mobius.
So it's basically Disney Umbrella.
Yeah, the Umbrella 10 to 11.
Oh, Disney Fox Umbrella, I should say.
Umbrella from Resident Evil. I'm talking
about.
They kidnapped her and used her for a car in this new STEM experiment called Union. So you're put into Union, and the whole concept of the game is, although this is a horrible world that's been corrupted and it's fallen apart, you are a father who will do absolutely anything to get his daughter back and protect her and save her. And I think that's its greatest claim, because it's an emotional horror game.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know anything else that does that.
Well, it sounds a bit like Silent Hill.
Yeah, but Silent Hill is much... I think there's rose-tinted lenses when it comes to Silent Hill, because at the time it was brilliant, but it used issues with its technology to mask its shortcomings. The fog was because it couldn't do draw distances.
Are you talking about Silent Hill or Silent Hill 2?
Well, just generally.
It's
the earlier ones.
It's just a lot of people... the general consensus is Silent Hill 2 is amazing, and everyone forgets just how good the original Silent Hill actually was for a PS1 game.
I went back and played them, and they're not all that great. Time's been harsh to them. But I mean, my point is, it's not a common thing.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that in the original Silent Hill, that was the idea of the story, wasn't it? Oh no, was that Silent Hill 2? I
didn't think it was all that emotional, though. It was kind of hollow and was...
Yeah.
Whereas this, it got me teared up in the towards the end. And just while we're talking about the story, it's so misleading. It's broken up into chapters. And it has this thing going through it where it has this first bad guy. I'm not going to reveal who the later bad guys are. But it has the first bad guy, and it gets to about chapter 8, and you're basically fighting him on floating islands and stabbing him, and there's a big tentacle that's going down for you. It feels like a final boss.
Okay.
But it's halfway through the game, so it kind of upends you. You think, it must be ending soon. And the second bad guy, again, who I'm not going to spoil, he's basically, I'm going to corrupt you all, ha 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 ha. I'm a bad guy, ha 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 ha. I tricked you all along, ha 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 ha. And, mustache twiddling, like in Resident Evil, where Albert Wesker syndrome, let's call it.
Yeah.
Which people love Albert Wesker, but he's not a good villain, really.
No,
because I want to do evil stuff.
He's a James Bond villain. He'll stand there and monologue for a while about how great he is.
Yeah, and then it gets to the final villain, and I don't want to spoil that, but it's a genuine surprise because it does earn that emotional, those emotional touchstones. It does hit home quite hard.
Okay.
Gameplay is sketchier. It plays basically like Dead Space or Resident Evil 4, but I think Dead Space is actually a more fitting example, but it looks like Resident Evil 4, where the game is set and where the world is and what you go through.
Is it like an over-the-shoulder type camera?
Yeah. Because as I started it, well, the first game, I think, as far as I know, it was more about you have to evade these people attacking you. And the second one's like that for a while too, and it's like these little open levels where you go in different buildings in these levels. And the first one, while you are learning the game, it basically puts like a load of monsters out in front of you and you don't know what to do because it doesn't ease you in, it just drops you in, which makes sense for the story. But as you were learning in those early phases, I was just basically wandering through the bushes for like 5 hours, like stabbing monsters in their head so they couldn't see me.
Okay.
But the more you get into the game, the more action-y it gets. But at the same time, it doesn't make you feel invincible because it gives you a stamina bar, and a really bad stamina bar because when he runs without using sprint, he looks like he's got baby legs and he can't run properly. And it's ridiculous.
Okay.
Like that sketch in American Dad where Stan gets baby legs.
Yes.
It's like that. Which is a shame, but it plays a lot like mechanically, as in you update your weapons. You got this little room, Sebastian's room, where you can upgrade, you can use a bench, and I have to take umbrage with the bench because, one, you can upgrade your weapons, which is fine, but in a survival horror situation, you have to throw bullets at people to kill them. But for some random reason, I don't know, instead of there being lots of ammo just littered around, it creates lots of, gunpowder that you can make into different types of ammo. What's the point in that? It's just stupid what it is. Just give people ammo.
Yeah, but the thing is...
You're giving us ammunition so we can make ammo.
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose they can get away with that when you look at it from the context of you're playing a game where the guy is already in a virtual world.
Yeah, no, but there's lots of soldiers there who drop weapons and drop stuff. Perfect thing, just there's some ammo. Oh, that's fine, that makes sense.
But
the fact that you're just randomly happening upon so much gunpowder, it's unrealistic. It takes you out of it.
But gunpowder is more useful. You can put it in bags and make explosives. You can put it in your backpack and make a big bomb type thing.
No, you can't. Not in this. And that's a problem for me. But yeah, I
mean, if you're going to put gunpowder in its form as gunpowder, then at least give the player the option to use it in various ways.
Yeah, I suppose you do. With it being a survival horror, I think the most important thing for a lot of people is it scary?
Yeah.
No, it isn't. It's messed up in the sort of sense of it just pulls the world apart and puts you in these hellscapes.
Okay.
But as far as it being scary, it's just kind of quiet. Oh, look, there's something scuttling across the back end of the screen. Oh, look, there is a monster made out of legs and stuff, which is nothing really. The only time it has like a scary character is basically the side missions where you happen upon this. The ghost girl, long hair, raggedy clothes.
Yeah.
Japanese ghost type. I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
Sadako.
Yeah, like Sadako. And there's recurring side missions with her, and most things, if you shoot it in the face, it dies. Her, if she sees you, you die. And nothing makes a scary thing not scary than being genuinely annoyed at how difficult it is. It kills any fear factor. You just think, for God's sake, I hate this level. Hate it. And those things, I think there's about 5 meetings of that, and just how difficult it is, it's the sort of thing that will prevent me from ever coming back to it.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, when you try and do scares in video games, there's only a few ways you can go because it's not like any other medium. You're actually there. It's immediate for you. So jump scares is one way to go, but then you end up with crap like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
You know? The other way you can go, and this is one of the reasons why I brought up the Silent Hill games earlier on. The Silent Hill games and the original Project Zero games, the first two especially, or Fatal Frame to use their other moniker, they did something really well. They built up the atmosphere.
Yeah, there's atmosphere in this.
Yeah.
But there's just generally nothing there. They're just the monster that you shoot in the face.
Yeah, but this is what I'm
it does
saying.
feel a lot like Last of Us. It's scary in the same way that Last of Us is, but it doesn't have the big tentpole moments like that game did.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I've played. There was one game that I played where I can't remember the name of it. So if anyone who's watching this remembers the name, do let me know. But it was a game where there was a tension when you were going across a particular area, and something could happen or it couldn't, and it changed every single time I went across the area, and I had to go across the area several times because there were fetch quests, and sometimes something would happen, other times nothing would happen, but I would still have the tension of something potentially happening.
Yeah. It does set up a potential sequel in the vaguest terms possible. You know how when something goes off and then it just blinks a bit?
Yeah.
And you think, oh, what's that? It does it in a lot of horror films. I'm talking about that in the vaguest possible terms to not spoil it for anybody. But it gets better the longer it goes on, which is a good thing because for like the first 7 chapters, it's genuinely a bad game. But for the last 10, it picks its act up considerably and becomes a much, much better game.
Okay, so the advice there is stick with it then.
Yes, stick with it. And honestly, it inherits Resident Evil 4's legacy, and it picks up what that game did, and it feels like, what Resident Evil 5 should have been.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's about time some game picked up Resident Evil 4's legacy, because God knows Resident Evil hasn't.
Yeah, and I think that's as high a plot as I could possibly give it, really. It has problems, but what doesn't? But it does enough well, especially in the final hour or final 2 hours, to make it really worth the effort of giving it a go, even not knowing the context of the first game.
Excellent.
Because it had me tearing up towards the end, and I think that's a very noble thing for a game to do.
Excellent. Also, just for you, Rob, I went and had to look this up because I remembered there is, in kind of a survival horror fantasy type thing, there is another Spanish or Latin American lead male in Suda 51's Shadows of the Damned.
Yeah, that's a very different type of game.
Yeah, I know. I just love the fact he's called Garcia Hotspur.
Yeah, that's a name. But yeah, do comment below, like and share. But you can also check out some of the other things that we've done, interviews, videos, or podcasts by searching for the Geek Show Podcast Network. But you can also check out our Patreon too on screen now. But until next time, I have been Rob.
And I have been Rob.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.